I wanted to be a judge because I thought I could make a difference as a judge. I thought that it was important that, especially in criminal cases, where when you have people that on one side of the bench, they can look at the judge and say, wow, she looks like me, then maybe I have a better shot or something. Even though, we're fair to everybody, I think it's important for people to see that sort of relationship, or see that sort of, where they can relate kind of to the judge, or better yet, they can think that the judge can relate to them. You may know what I've been through. You may know how I got to where I'm at. So that's one of the reasons why that's the majority of the reason why I wanted to be a lawyer.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a story out of Cleveland that I think is a great example of why we have a lot of chaos in some of these liberal cities across the country. Well, it's because our judicial system is broken. We have a lot of woke activist judges who are just refusing to do their jobs. Like, for example, this judge in this story right here who continues to release this menace to society back into the streets to beat people up and to assault people, right? That is what this person does, right? It seems like he's been programmed to do that, right? And the judge refuses to lock this man up. And now the victims are speaking out because they're tired of this guy being released from custody of law enforcement back into the streets just for him to beat them up, right? For him to do the same thing over and over and over again. And this judge just refuses to do anything about it, right? It's a very, very, very crazy story. But again, this is why, again, we have so much chaos, to be honest with you, in a lot of these liberal cities. It's because these judges aren't doing their job. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
As we told you at the top of this newscast, victims who were viciously attacked by a Northeast Ohio man are demanding justice tonight.
They say he showed no remorse, yet the judge released him. 19 investigator Mike Mason broke this story and now has the latest.
This man, Serus Walters, was in court here earlier this week, pleading guilty to brutally assaulting 3 men, all within the same month. However, the judge let him walk, and now his victims are outraged, and they want justice.
I'm ready to get in this cop car and face my time. Listen.
This is body cam footage of officers arresting Serus Walters last year for assault. Earlier this week, Walters was released from jail after he admitted to brutally assaulting 3 men.
I was fairly certain he was trying to kill me.
Walters viciously attacked David Dudley last year in downtown Cleveland. Dudley's a criminal defense attorney who was here on business. He represents clients from across the country.
I have been in front of over 1,000 judges.
But the one who's baffled him the most is Judge Cassandra Collier-Williams. Earlier this week, Serus Walters pleaded guilty to assaulting 3 men, including Dudley.
He ran towards me and kicked me in the ribs and my shoulder, and then multiple times in the back of the head.
Dudley suffered severe contusions and a broken shoulder.
This guy is unpredictably violent.
During Walters' bench trial this past Monday, Collier-Williams reduced his felony charge to a misdemeanor, allowing Walters to walk the streets of Cleveland once again.
Judge Williams didn't even put him on any kind of supervision. The prosecutor was shocked at that.
Shocked, he says, because when Walters addressed the court, he failed to take responsibility for his actions.
He neither apologized to me nor any of the other victims he acknowledged attacking. He showed no remorse, not one shred of remorse.
I feel the judge let us down.
We'll call this man Tony. Surveillance video captured Walters beating on him in Tower City.
He broke my glasses, and also I had a few knots on the back of my head. I had a ring around my eye.
Tony says he's devastated by the judge's ruling.
She just gave him time served, which is, I think, ridiculous because I feel he's a menace to society.
After assaulting Tony, Walters was arrested and released the next day to attack once again. This time, he injured a man near Whiskey Island so severely, he required stitches.
I ain't no crime, bro. We've been walking this whole time.
Once again, Walters was arrested and released. That's when Dudley turned to 19 Investigates for help.
There was no detective on this case until right before the story ran, when they found out it was going to run.
We obtained video from the city's surveillance cameras showing Walters stumbling down the street after Dudley's attack.
So what we're seeing here, right, is an agent of chaos that a judge refuses to lock up and throw away the key, because that is what should happen to individuals like this. I mean, this dude is stumbling in the street. He's probably a drug addict. Okay, he's probably mentally unstable. Probably is not living in a home with a father. All the stereotypes, right? All the stereotypes. In one person, right? And again, these are the type of people that you have to get off the streets, right? These are the type of people that you have to lock up and throw away the key, right? These are the type of people where you have to throw the book at them, okay? And you cannot be soft on these individuals, because they've already shown time and time again that they cannot function in a normal society with everybody else, right? And he's proved that. Every time he is released, he goes and he beats somebody else up, right? He assaults somebody else, because it seems to me that's a part of his programming, right? It might be in his DNA at this point. I don't know. I'm just saying that if somebody's clearly showing behavior like this and they're not showing any remorse, right? They're not trying to get better. They're just continuing to do it. Then at some point you have to make the decision and say, hey, this person just doesn't belong in society, right? This person can't be in society. And it is dangerous to continue to allow people like this to be on the streets, because eventually somebody is going to get seriously hurt or killed, right? And when that happens, in my opinion, I think that this judge will have blood on her hands. I mean, she already has blood on her hands now, right? With the fact that you have individuals who are being brutally assaulted by this person. But again, that's typically how it goes, right? They continue to let these people out over and over again, because again, he's black, and hey, you can't punish young black men harshly, right? You can't do that, right? That's racism, okay? You got to give him a chance, okay? He's only committing the crimes because he's poor, right? He's poor. He wasn't born in a great opportunity. White supremacy is holding him down. This is why he's doing it. So you got to keep giving him chances. And I guarantee you that's why this judge keeps letting this individual out. This is a Democrat judge. She knows that there's no real challenge to her power, okay? Even if she allows these criminals to roam the streets and stuff like that and to assault people, she knows that these people aren't going to ever really vote her out. So she's totally fine with this, right? She doesn't care, because there's no accountability for these judges, okay? And I think that's what has to change. There has to be accountability for these judges that continue to allow these repeated offenders out on the streets, because ultimately at the end of the day, these judges are the reason why this is happening. So they need to be held accountable, right? Maybe she should be facing some charges, to be honest with you.
Showing Walters stumbling down the street after Dudley's attack.
By placing that on your news report, we were able to find him.
Tony identified Walters from our report, and police arrested him once again. He was again released, then rearrested. This time, Walters spent 2 months in jail until earlier this week, when Judge Collier Williams let him go with time served.
The judge gave him the absolute minimum sentence that was available.
He's going to be out there doing the same thing again.
Walters was arrested again yesterday, just 2 days after being released. He now faces some minor charges in Garfield Heights. We tried to contact Walters and the judge and both the prosecutor and public defender's offices, but so far we haven't heard back. In Cleveland, Mike Mason, 19 News.
Yep. So again, that's the problem. And eventually, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm doing another video and I'm like, hey guys, right, we got to follow up on the story involving this young scholar who this judge refused to lock up, and now he's killed somebody, right? That's essentially probably what's going to happen. I hope that doesn't happen, right? I hope that somebody intervenes and says, no, we're not releasing this person back into the streets anymore, right? But unfortunately, I think that I probably will be doing a follow-up story about this person killing somebody, right? I'm just saying, like, that's typically how this goes, because these individuals continue to commit these acts of violence. Again, it seems to be something that they're programmed to do at this point, right? When you continuously do it, like this person is doing it, right? There's probably some issues going on. Yeah, this person has shown they should not be allowed in general society. But for whatever reason, this judge doesn't see the danger in allowing this menace, this agent of chaos, back on the streets, okay? And that is why I say that if this person happens to end up killing somebody, then this judge should be held responsible. I'm very serious. The judge should be facing charges, okay, if this individual continues to commit these acts of violence. At some point, something has to be done about these woke judges who don't care about law and order, right? This is not law and order. This is just allowing chaos based off woke ideology, right? I mean, she is clearly, quote unquote, looking out for her people, right? Which means she's allowing crime and chaos at the expense of law-abiding American citizens. And that is, again, part of the reason why these liberal cities are in such a state of disaster. Just look at the judicial system. There's a judicial crisis in this country, not just at the federal level, as we've seen with the Trump administration and them trying to block the Trump administration from enforcing federal laws, but also at the local level as well, too, particularly in these liberal cities. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.